The dog chasing a wolf. A dog was chasing a wolf, and as he ran through, what was a fine fellow he was, and what strong legs he had, and how quickly they covered the ground. Now, there's this wolf, he said to himself. What a poor creature he is. He is no match for me, and he knows it, and so he runs away. But the wolf looked around just then and said, Don't you imagine I'm running away from you, my friend. It's your master I'm afraid of. Grief and his due. When Jupiter was assigning the various gods their privileges, it so happened that Grief was not present with the rest. But when all had received their share, he too entered and claimed his due. Jupiter was at a loss to know what to do, for there was nothing left for him. However, at last he decided that to him belonged the tears that were shed for the dead. Thus it is the same grief as it is with the other gods. The more devotedly men rendered to him his due, the more lavish is he of that which has to be bestowed. It was not well, therefore, to mourn long for the departed. Our Grief, whose sole pleasure is in such mourning, will be quick to send a fresh course of tears. The hawk, the kite, and the pigeons. The pigeons in a certain devacote were persecuted by a kite, who very now and then swooped down and carried off one of their number. So they invited a hawk into the devacote to defend them against their enemy. But they soon repented of their folly, for the hawk killed more of them in a day than the kite had done in a year. The woman and the farmer. A woman who had lately lost her husband used to go every day to his grave and lament her loss. A farmer who was engaged in ploughing not far from the spot set eyes upon the woman and desired to have her for his wife. So he left his plough and came and sat by her side and began to shed tears himself. She asked him why he wept, and he replied, I have lately lost my wife, who was very dear to me, and my tears ease my grief. And I, she said, have lost my husband. And so for a while they mourned in silence. Then he said, Since you and I are in a like case, shall we not do well to marry and live together? I should take the place of your dead husband, and you that of my dead wife. The woman consented to the plan, which indeed seemed reasonable enough, and they dried their tears. Meanwhile, a thief had come and stolen the oxen which the farmer had left with his plough. On discovering the theft, he beat his breast and loudly bewailed his loss. When the woman heard his cries, she came and said, Why aren't you weeping still? To which he replied, Yes, and I mean it this time. Prometheus and the making of man. At the bidding of Jupiter, Prometheus set about the creation of a man and the other animals. Jupiter, seeing that mankind, the only rational creatures, were far outnumbered by the irrational beasts, bade him to redress the balance by turning some of the latter into men. Prometheus did as he was bidden, and this is the reason why some people have the forms of men, but the souls of beasts.